Hey, so let's just get to the point. In this video, we're going to be talking about self-love and what that looks like in a very practical and very applicable way. So we're going to be talking about things that I feel are kind of explained in a way that are very abstract. And for me, self-love, the concept of self-love has definitely been something that I haven't really truly understood until recently. So in this video, we're going to talk about three concepts. We're going to talk about self-love as actions. We're going to talk about the self-love in terms of giving yourself and allowing yourself to be human and allowing others to be human. And the third and final thing is the environment. Really stick around and see what I mean by environment and see how that may be influencing the way you truly love yourself and the way you give love to others. So the first step and the first thing that we're going to be talking about is actions. Now, I'm going to give you a little story about how I uncovered how self-love is true actions that we need to be taken towards ourselves that we feel like are probably very small, very minuscule things, but they can add up and it can allow us to create the self-image where we truly don't love ourselves to the degree that we think we do. Not this egoic love. This intrinsic understanding of who we are and the love that we have for ourselves is based out of a lot of the actions that we're willing to take and the actions that we're not willing to take. So the story is like this. In March this year, I went to a plant medicine retreat and I went in with the intention of understanding what is self-love, what is actual love, and how can I understand it so I can actually apply it in my life. And while taking very high vibrational, high medicinal plants, I uncovered that I had this thought where it's like, what about your knee? How much do you truly love your knee? Now, the background to this is my first real love was basketball. I used to love playing basketball. I used to love everything about the NBA and I really wanted to hone in my skills and I got really good at it. And me trying to be Kobe Bryant in this one moment about 10, 11 years ago, I ended up tearing my ACL, my lateral meniscus, and totally destroying my ability to play basketball. Now, my fear around wanting to truly play basketball again and not wanting to injure myself had stopped me from loving my leg, stopped me from doing the rehab that I needed in order to never face that fear again. And so on this retreat, I uncovered that to the degree that I love my knee, and what this means is to the degree I was willing to rehab my knee, I was willing to give love and basically do the stretching, do all the work that was involved to get my knee back to the health that it needed to be in order for me to play basketball again. That was to the degree, that was a very small aspect of how much I truly love myself. I wasn't able to give myself the necessary rehab that was needed for my knee to fully feel healed and for me to feel complete, for me to not feel like I'm going to walk outside and I live in Canada, so it's slippery, there's black ice, you can basically fall, or your knee can pop out, or I can't even play basketball. I have to be very cautious when I squat. And all these things have a lot to do with how much I truly loved myself, because I wasn't willing to take the actions that were in line with me feeling whole again, with me falling in love with basketball again. And so you want to ask yourself, where are you not taking the actions? And trust me, they're going to be very small actions. They're going to be actions that you are putting off, that you should be doing, maybe for your health, maybe for a certain injury, maybe for getting back into shape, losing some weight, or maybe gaining weight. It could be certain things that you're pushing, basically things that are involved with who you are as a human being. It could be your mental health. It could be a lot of these other factors that we're going to talk about. But those actions are actually very important and they do translate into self-love because it allows you to be honest with yourself, first and foremost. And it allows you to have radical responsibility for who you are as a person, for your body, for your mind, for your basically everything that you have right now that no one can take away from you, which is this thing right here, this physical body, this mind, and all the aspects that go along with this. Now, the second point we're going to be talking about is something I actually heard from Panache Desai. And it hit me very, very hard when he explained this concept in such a very deep and profound way. It was very simply put. It was like, to the degree that you love others and you allow others to be human is the degree that you'll allow yourself to be human. Now, what this means, and this is a huge practice for me, is that I'm allowing myself to have space around other people. Now, you may be ending up in scenarios or situations, and mostly this may show up with loved ones or partners or whoever is really close to you, maybe best friends, maybe your girlfriend or boyfriend. What's going to happen is they may be portraying certain characteristics that you don't like. And most of the times, those characteristics that we see in them are projections of how we feel about ourselves or projections of past behaviors within ourselves that we don't like anymore and that we're trying to get rid of. Now, to the degree that you allow other people to be human, to the degree that you allow them to be safe in your space and allow them to truly be who they are without trying to fix them, without trying to control them, without trying to coach them, without trying to do anything that changes what's going on for them, and allow them to really feel what they're feeling and allow them to be human. That's the degree that you'll allow yourself to be human, because we are so much more critical of ourselves, but we're just not aware of it. Now, if we're living in this kind of vertical, paradigm of how things should be, where things are right or wrong, good or bad, we're constantly comparing ourselves to other people, we're not going to give space for other people to be human. And to that degree, we're not going to give space to ourselves to be human. And the contrast, or the other way of looking at it, is to have this kind of vertical understanding where you live from your heart and you can experience being in the present moment. You can see everything is equal and everything is constantly changing, and you don't have to attach yourself to certain feelings or certain behaviors that other people are even displaying that you don't like. Now, I'm not saying go around and hang around with people that are constantly, doing negative things or portraying things that are allowing you to feel very unhappy or insecure within yourself. It's more about the loved ones, the people that we care about, the people that we don't always want to listen to, but it's really kind of you to sit there and have space and give space for them and have your heart open and understand that's nothing to do with you. They're going through whatever they're going through, and you don't have to fix it. And to the degree that you allow them to be naturally who they are being and allow them to follow their natural process of what's going to happen for them and allow them to change on their own time, you're going to do that for yourself. And so begin to catch yourself when you're in the space of making someone wrong or not giving them space to allow them to be human. And then see where you're not allowing yourself to be that way and it's really about giving yourself grace and giving them grace at the same time. And the third and final point that I want to talk to you guys about is your environment. So self-love actually has a lot to do with what you put in your environment. Now, if you think about the five senses and you think about what you look at, you think about what you listen to, you think about what you consume, you think about who you hang out with. Now, people talk so much about, you are the sum of the five people that you spend the most time with, and then you're going to become those people. And I definitely agree with that. But it's also when you're by yourself or you're with people that you want to spend time with, what is your environment like? Does it look messy? Is there scatter all over the place? Is there a lot of chaos that's in that environment? Are you trying to look at other people and see what they're doing from a place of lack? You want to be conscious of what you're eating. You want to be conscious of what you're listening to. You want to be conscious of what you're watching. All these things do correlate to self-love, because whether we believe it or not, unconsciously, all of these things are being used as information that we input into ourselves. So the water we drink, the food that we have, everything that we do that is constantly in our environment is dictating what we become. Okay, so adding to the third point, you want to see everything that you're consuming with your five senses as information. So if your environment's pretty much disarray and it doesn't have a lot of organization in it, like it could be your room, it could be your car, it could be even your mind, right? It's all information. What you're consuming is information. If a lot of your foods are processed most of the time, you're consuming that and it's becoming you. Whatever you're consuming or whatever you're drinking, whoever you're hanging out with, it's the same thing. And that all goes back to self-love. You have to be conscious of what you're consuming, whether it's visually, whether you're listening to it, whether it's auditory, whether it's tactile, whether it's you're in your environment that's really dictating how you're feeling internally on an unconscious level. You'll begin to understand that to the degree that you love yourself, to the degree that you want to care about yourself, just like how I talked about my knee, to the degree that I wanted to, and that may be a more difficult action for more people because it takes time out of your day and you have to prioritize that. But these small things really add up and they compound over time. I'm having a day where I'm not in control, or I don't feel control, I don't feel safe. If I go clean my room, or if I go make sure the car is clean, or I organize the house, or I try to do the small things that we may be putting off, have a good conversation with a good friend, I begin to feel a little better. I begin to feel a lot more love towards myself. And this point has a lot more to do with the first point in terms of how you keep your environment and how you guard your environment. Are you allowing other people to say things to you without second guessing things? Are you watching information without noticing, hey, is this really true? Does this go up against my beliefs, or do I just naturally want to consume all this because I think I trust this person and they're valid and they have some sort of external validation that I want. So therefore, I'm going to think and listen to exactly what they're saying and I'm going to become that way. It's begin to guard yourself and begin to guard the senses that you have that consume everything as information that allow you to really dictate whether you're being loving towards yourself or not. So just to recap, main 3 points in terms of how you can practically begin to apply self-love within your life right now, right after this video, whenever you feel like is best for you, is begin to take the actions that you have been putting off that allow you to feel whole again, And it could be directly related to your body or to your mind, or it could be certain actions that that are going to give you the life that you want, and you're really not being loving to yourself by taking the actions and going through the anxiety or the pain or whatever is showing up for you that you may need to go through. Second of all, begin to give space. And I feel like this point is actually very important. And I've noticed that when I began to really just allow other people to be human and not make them wrong, not point out mistakes, not constantly correct things, I really began to give myself a lot more grace. And I feel like that is the main takeaway here. And the final thing is check your environment. Basically see and think about what am I consuming? What am I watching? How am I spending my time? Who am I spending my time with? And how does basically your room look like, right? And that really will help you understand self-love in a very practical way. So I hope you got some value out of this video. I hope you understand self-love now as an action and as something you can genuinely work towards. And I promise you, by taking these points into consideration and chipping away at certain things that you may not feel you want to do, but that are best for your own self-interest, you'll begin to generate a deeper sense of self-love for yourself. And it's not just about feeling that way all the time, because feelings are constantly changing, they're constantly moving. And you don't want to be in this constant high or this constant low. You just want to observe those feelings and understand that the self-love is going to come from a lot of integrity that you keep with yourself. The words that you say to yourself, are you following through with what you have planned to do? That's where it all comes down to. So if you like this video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. I really want to be able to give more content. And I feel like, taking concepts that, can be a little bit spiritual or self-development focused and putting them in a very practical way is something that I really enjoy doing. And I feel like I've been doing this for a very long time in my life, and I just haven't been able to put it out there. But the people in my life and my friends and other people that I do certain coaching with have all understood how impactful this can be when you can see things in a practical way and you can begin to actually make progress on these things. So thank you so much. If you made it this far, I truly appreciate you guys listening. My name is Manny. It's short for Minjinder, and that's it.